There's 2 times a day that I like to use sauna. Either post-exercise, because it can actually extend those exercise benefits, can reduce the risk of dementia by up to 66%, reduce the risk of all causes of mortality with at least 4 sessions per week.
That we have now created human embryos using just a skin cell. Although you also need sperm, you would be able to probably allow same-sex couples to have babies that are their DNA. But when you say same-sex couples, you're talking about men. But then it's like, we won't need women anymore.
I did therapeutic plasma exchange. It is essentially removing either a portion or all of the plasma. So you're pulling out some of those rogue immune cells, some of those antibodies that have built up against your own body. I'm excited for the future for the filtering of the plasma because you'll be able to select what toxins. Do you want to filter out microplastics? Do you want to filter out antibodies? Now I'm aiming for between 30 and 50 plant species per week.
What?
It sounds crazy, but it's actually not. Like yesterday, I had 27 different plant species.
How? In a supplement?
No.
Sora. It's a video generation model. It was released by OpenAI. What's interesting is that you can sign up and have your likeness in the app, but then you can use people's likenesses and then you can make them do things.
Blue zones, these are areas in which they have abundance of people living to 100 or older. And if we look at their habits, and everyone always wants to bring up that they drink wine and, alcohol can't be that bad because they have it, but you can't pull out this one factor and then apply it to your life that's nothing like the blue zone life. So what are they doing in the blue zones? Number 1. All right, well, we are back with episode 4.
Hello.
We're back.
Yes. Hey,
we're
Kayla.
back. How's your day?
It's going well. I went for a run this morning. Oh, we're going to talk about our health protocol.
Yeah, we are going to talk about our health protocol.
Well, today is Wednesday. We just released the podcast for this week, and this will be going out on October 8th.
Yeah.
I just went for a run this morning. Evie is now playing on the floor. Did some work things.
Nice.
Meditated and prayed, and it was a good morning.
Love that. Yeah.
How'd you?
Well, for anyone watching, so we'll talk about it. We'll talk about therapeutic plasma exchange today. We can talk about a few things that we'll talk about. So we're going to talk about peptides because we didn't get to finish that conversation.
Yeah.
We'll talk about our health protocols, both of ours. And then we were going to talk about, I want to talk about therapeutic plasma exchange.
Yeah.
But I have this little bruise under my eye for anyone that's watching this.
No one can see it from the screen.
Yeah. Lauren says that too, but I always
literally know.
In case you guys see texture, so I had thousands of little injections into my skin for hopefully rejuvenation. So I did salmon sperm. And by the way, I was cracking up because Warren somehow already knew about salmon.
I've heard of this salmon sperm thing.
I thought, because I was he's like, oh, what are you going to do today? I'm like, oh, get salmon sperm injected. And I thought he was going to be like what? But no, he was actually really chill. He's like, yeah, I've heard of that. So did salmon sperm, and then we did V-cell injections, exosomes, and just a whole bunch of stuff. So we'll talk about that. But that's what we're going to talk about from a longevity standpoint. Oh, and there is one interesting development that they were actually able to create an egg from skin.
I literally just recorded a video on this. I was about to share it.
Oh, okay, great. So
this is insane.
We'll
talk about it.
Talk about it together because you probably actually know more about it than I.
Probably not that much more than but yeah.
So that's also an interesting topic, I think. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about from the health longevity standpoint. What are you going to talk about AI stuff today?
I wanted to talk about that. Also, Sora 2 was released, and we have a new app and things like that. So let's check that out. I think you and I should record. I have a code for you, so we can get you signed up if you're interested.
Yay, of course. And Sora is what again?
Sora is video generation models.
Okay,
made by OpenAI.
Amazing.
It's really good. People are comparing it to VO3, which was Google's video generation model. It is outperforming in a lot of ways. It's pretty exceptional. We can talk about that today.
Yay, amazing. All right, well, let's jump right in. By the way, we're having a yerba mate today.
Wow, we're even doing a full shout out.
Yeah, well, I figured people would wonder if they're a sponsor. They're not.
Not yet.
Yeah, Harper and I were talking. I mean, on my other pod, always I avoided ads for so long because I just think that they're annoying when they pop up. But if we do any ads, then
they're definitely annoying.
Yeah, but super annoying.
You have to monetize. I just avoided it because they're annoying.
Yeah, especially when the decibels of the regular audio and then the ad is different. Ooh, it's horrible. Yeah. So, anyways, for now we're just
Well, they send me they keep me stocked.
Yes.
So they're kind of I wouldn't say sponsor, but they're supportive of my dreams by sending me yerba mate. So I'm gonna see if we can do that for Kayla. She only drinks the lemon original.
Yeah, the lemon. Oh, and you know what? You just gave me the lemon.
I did. I
That's so
brought that
sweet
for
because
you.
you knew.
I know.
Yeah, the lemon doesn't have any natural flavors.
Yeah, they have these other flavors are really good, but they have natural flavors, which Lord knows what that means.
Yeah.
I actually haven't asked them. I think they would be helpful if I asked them.
Yeah, you should.
But yeah, I like them. I like Matina. It also has GLP-1 inhibitors naturally. So the same thing that Ozempic has, yerba mate has naturally in it.
Yeah, we make
at a much smaller dose.
We make them, internally, so we can do things to boost those GLP-1s, which is interesting.
Yes, but yeah, I love Matina. It's definitely powers me.
Yeah, I typically drink lots of different types of water. I feel like I'm a water connoisseur now.
You are.
Yeah, I
You
have
are.
the whole section of different waters, which I really love. Okay, but let's get into health. So what did we talk about last time? We talked about sleep, so we covered that.
Yes.
We talked about exercise a little bit. We talked about
we have to talk more about exercise.
Yeah.
That's what we were in food this week.
Okay,
So
yeah,
we're gonna go over our exercise and food protocol.
Yeah, let's talk about exercise stuff. And Harper and I are kind of now on the same exercise routine because, yeah, I mean, for the most part, I make like some amendments, but yeah, we often work out together. So
Yeah.
it's nice when we're both on the same. Although I did just I've had a little trouble with my hamstring. So this hamstring,
Yeah.
it's not it's not like a tear or anything, but it's just sore, and it's been sore because I've been trying to keep up with my running schedule and my leg workout. So tonight I'm actually I'll have to connect you with him. He's apparently the best chiropractor and body worker. I don't know how I feel about the
I'm
cracking
cringing
and
over
stuff.
here at the chiropractor thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll do that, but he knows a lot about he travels with all of the professional teams. So
I have a
they
crazy
can do
chiropractor story, but yeah.
they can do lasers. They have lasers to help speed healing.
Okay.
I'm doing BPC 157.
Love it.
So I'm excited. But the other thing that I'm excited to do too is one big thing for me this year that I want to work on is my posture.
Ooh.
So I feel
I love it.
yeah, careful. Yeah, these chairs are fully customizable, so they move around.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask him what's everything that you can do for posture optimization. So I will share any of the tips.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, that kind of has to do with the fitness protocol. Should we just jump into that?
yeah, let's jump into it.
Okay, so I follow a fitness protocol that you can actually find most of it. It's slightly amended, the foundational fitness protocol on the Huberman Lab. Mine is slightly amended. It swaps Wednesday and Thursday. I actually made a sheet recently for my parents because I'm trying to get them on it because it's totally changed my life. So I made this Google Doc with links to videos on how to do all the exercises. So if you're interested in doing that, comment and I'll link it. But I can share this document that I made with them with all the exercises that you do every day, and then links to videos showing you how to do the exercise. But I just do the same one. So Sunday is a long zone 2. So I'll go for a long zone 2 cardio, like a hike or a long run on the beach or whatever.
Should we tell people how to figure out if they're in zone 2 or not?
Yes. So it's your heart. It's 220. I just looked this up because I did the thing for my parents.
Yeah.
It's 220 minus your age is your max heart rate.
Yeah.
And then times for zone 2, I think it's 0.65 to 0.7. So it's you want 65% to 70% of your heart rate is zone 2. So you 220 minus your age times, and then take that number, multiply it by 0.65, 2, and then that's your lower end of zone 2. And then 0.7 is your higher end of zone 2. And if you wear a heart rate monitor, you want to do that. And you might run really slowly to start. I remember when I started, I was running 4 miles an hour. I was barely moving, but I had to keep myself there. But I was able to go 5 miles on my first time, because if you keep your heart rate low, then you have that longer endurance. You don't tire yourself out. And then you can go a longer way, and you find over time as you do the zone 2 training that you get faster and faster staying within zone 2. And it's really cool to watch. You see really clear progress.
Yeah, and for anyone listening to, if you're not as cardiovascularly trained, that may look like you could be in zone 2 with a fast walk.
Yeah,
So-
that's what I'm saying. 4 miles an hour is basically a fast walk.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were actually running, but yeah, a lot of people.
I was jogging at that, but barely moving.
They're
it could be a fast walk.
in a fast walk.
Yeah.
So
Or a hike. It's any kind of incline, you're
Yeah.
going to hit that.
yeah.
Just keep a heart rate monitor.
Yeah, the heart rate monitor, or you can log your workout. Sarah Gottfried, actually, when she was over, she does a lot of this on Aurora, which I don't tend to do, but I'm going to start. So she'll hit measuring heart rate so that it tells her if she's in zone 2 during that time or not. And then Whoop, if you have a Whoop, it actually breaks down what zones you spend your time in over the week. So
okay, so these are all heart rate monitors.
Yeah, exactly. I'm saying if anyone has one of those, then there's different options.
Yeah. Like I use the Apple Watch. I only wear it when I do it, but there are lots, as you said, options.
Totally.
So I'll do that for 35 minutes, usually 40 to 45, or an hour plus. And then Monday is leg day. So I do the same like 3 or 4 leg exercises at the gym, at my muscle gym. Tuesday is rest day, long walk, sauna.
Sometimes cold plunge.
Yeah. Wednesday is like some kind of higher intensity run. So I could do 4-6-4, which is what you talk about if you wanted to share what that is. Or this morning I just went for like a higher heart rate run. Like I ran for like 40 minutes, but it was just at a higher heart rate than I would. It was higher than zone 2.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you would probably want to do between like 20 and 30 minutes of that.
Yeah. I really like the VO2 max training. So we know that
4-6-4.
VO2 max training is a really strong predictor of biological age and overall health and fitness. And we also know that starting at about the age 30, your VO2 max declines at about 10% per year.
Yeah.
So we really need to be fighting against that. You and I are both. I'm a little past that. You're about to enter that. So we got to keep fighting against it.
Yeah.
And we can too. I actually am excited to share it with you. I have a new at-home VO2 monitor. So when I get back from London, it's quite complex to set up. So the company's gonna walk me through it.
Okay.
But the reporting is really, really incredible. So zone or VO2 max training, you can do either, if you're a man listening to this, 4x4 training. So it's called a Norwegian 4x4, 4 minutes of all out, followed by 4 minutes of recovery 4 times. If you're a woman, so when I interviewed Dr. Stacy Sims, she's incredible and has a background in exercise science and also female health. She says that women do a little bit better with 4 minutes of all out, followed by 6 minutes of recovery 4 times. So we tend to recover a little bit slower. So 4-6-4, and that's an incredible way. It's challenging, right? Like if you're going all out, it's a hard workout, but it's fun to watch the progress. And then another way that I do VO2 max training.
And all out, just to be clear though, so because it's 4 minutes, you're not really all out like a sprint. You're doing like 80 to 85% of your heart rate.
I think we should be aiming for about 90%.
Is it 90?
Yeah,
okay.
About 90% of max heart rate. But obviously your speed will drop during that time, but your heart rate can still stay elevated.
Yes, right. And you want to check your monitor. Okay, so it's 90%.
About 90%, yeah. Okay. Max heart rate. Yep. So thank you for clarification. And the other way that I do it is I have this AI-powered fitness bike, so that Carol bike in the garage. Okay. They have these re-hit workouts, which I really like because it uses AI to push against you essentially. So you're actually doing your max regardless of how, you and I could have different, we probably have similar max powers, but let's say me and my husband are going to have very different. So
I think you're more cardiovascularly fit than I am probably. I'm just gonna
possibly, but you run a lot. So, I mean, I think, but it's great because these AI bikes, it's about making the workout shorter, but still equally as intense. So it's only like 7 minutes of work, but you're getting a lot more benefits, which is nice.
Yeah, right. Like I know that there's even ones where it's like 4 minutes of work and that's like enough for you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's Wednesday. Then Thursday, so Wednesday would be, VO2 max training in some sort or form or just the long run. Thursday is chest and back, so the same exercises. Friday is sprint day.
Yeah.
So I'll sprint usually on the beach or do one of these 4 minute whatever bike exercises. For sprinting, if I'm sprinting outside, I'll do 8-ish sets, maybe 10 if I'm feeling really good that day. But depending on where I am in my cycle, it can be like too intense.
Yeah.
But I'll do 30 seconds of sprint and then 1 minute of rest and then back and forth. And then Saturday is arm day. So I'll train my inner biceps and my triceps. There's like one thing as a woman, like there are certain exercises you actually have to be really cautious as a woman about what you're training. If you're trying to train for if you don't want to physique, right? Like I'm cautious about, I'm so lucky to have been trained in a way that is like really optimal for a female physique. So there are like certain things that I'll do. Like I won't, do these things, or like when I lift these things. And for those listening, I don't even know what they're called.
So doing like a shoulder,
like the shoulder exercise. I don't work out my shoulders. I just do my chest and my back. I don't work out my neck. Although I'm going to talk about that in terms of posture, but I guess back would help. And then like when I do biceps, I make sure to work the inner bicep, not the outer one, because I don't want it to be like wide looking at me.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So those are some like little minor adjustments as a woman that you can make.
Yeah.
And then then we're back to Sunday. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Well, so her and I are on similar workout protocols in terms of what movements we're doing each and what body part we're focusing on each week. But I think the way that I think about training is we want to think about all of the longevity metrics that we could hit. So a few things that we should do it more when we're together, and you might want to do it more on your own too. So, okay, we already have covered cardiovascular training within that. We've talked about zone 2. We talked about VO2 max. We talked about an endurance run. Great, check. Grip strength is a big predictor. So by us doing these strength training lifts, really important. We've also covered muscle mass. So as a woman, you want to have more muscle mass, as both genders want to have more muscle mass, right? I don't think there's ever really too much muscle as long as you're doing it in a non-pharmacological way, right? Obviously, if you're taking steroids, we see bodybuilders all the time die early because your heart is a muscle too, and it's just being used too much. And so, but in general, most people are not going to put on too much muscle. So I think it's important for women and men to know their body composition. We want less body fat, more muscle. Women have we have higher levels of essential body fat. So about 10 to 13%, depending on the woman, is essential body fat. So that's fat we absolutely need to have healthy hormones. And that's why we see some women that are doing competitions lose our cycles. And out of all the experts I've interviewed, your cycle is like a vital sign. So
yes,
we want to keep that.
Right.
So we had the strength training check, VO2 max training check. A few things that we want to think about as well is I do a lot of jumping. So really trying to load the
running,
bones.
or is that different?
It actually needs to be a bit more intense. So it's giving you a little bit of benefit. So why are we talking about jumping? We're talking about jumping for bone density. So we know also that your bone density peaks at about 30 and then it starts to decline. A DEXA or a bone density scan is not standard in insurance coverage until 65 years old.
Whoa.
By the time you get to 65, especially as a woman, you potentially can be pretty sarcopenic, meaning your sarcopenic loss of muscle, and osteopenic or osteoporosis is the bone density loss. So I think that women should look at bone density way earlier, but we can also just train it. So jumps, like box jumps, if you think about it, the more of the load, so when you're jumping up and down, it's more of a load on the bone, the better. But you also want to load, because if you're jumping, that's just loading the legs and some of the spine, right? But we also want to load the wrists and we want to load the arms. So some of the strength training is really good, but also things like push-ups or weighted push-ups, things of that nature are good for loading the wrists and the arms. But jumping is really great. So maybe we start putting in a jump roping session.
Yeah, maybe on Wednesday in the cardio day.
Yeah. Jumping important, and then also thinking about stretching, mobility, and stability. Those are other things that we could probably add on to our dual workouts, because we want to have good stretching, flexibility still. We want to be mobile, so working on like those little joints and keeping everything really strong, and then also stability, because as you get older, which this isn't a concern for us right now, but we want to be really, we haven't want to really have cut that Patrick. We want to have really good balance. So balance exercises, whether it be standing on one leg, alternating. There's a few different things that we can do.
Okay. There's a few things I do want to throw in that I forgot to mention in terms of balance, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't mention any ab workouts.
Yeah.
What I do is once or twice a week on one of the days, one of the weight training days, I do one targeted ab exercise, and it works so well.
Yeah.
I'm like ripped, and it builds your abs from the inside. So you actually have like really strong abs. So you hang from a bar and then you raise your legs, your knees up. There's like 3 versions you can do based on strength. The first level one is you raise your knees up to a 90-degree angle and back down again. So you do 5 sets of 5 of those, just 5, and then 5 sets of that. Then once you're strong enough to do a pike, so like just like your legs straight out instead of like a 90-degree angle, straight out, do 5 sets of 5 of those. And then eventually you want to be able to raise your legs very controlled. Like for all of these, you don't want to swing. Otherwise you're not working your abs.
Yeah.
You want to raise your legs all the way to your hands and touch the bar and then back down again. So like a straight leg lift, 5 sets of 5. Those work so well. And then the rest of my exercises, I tend to stagger my legs. So when I'm doing my bicep curls or I'm doing my like cable, I don't even know what they're called, like tricep cable things, I'm always staggering my legs so that and I swap which leg so that I'm always like using the core in some way, staying engaged. So I have a strong core in that way. You want to be really careful about these ab exercises where you're bending your knees because it's really bad for your pelvic floor, right? For both men and women. So these ab like crunches and things like that, they're actually really detrimental. So just this one ab exercise that I do plus the staggering is more than enough.
Yeah.
And I learned this from someone who is very knowledgeable and very well regarded as knowledgeable. So it's not just me, some AI girl telling you all of this. I have heard it from the mouth of the educator. What else? I think that there's something else. About nutrition afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's really important to, a lot of women don't know this, and I know this is relatively new to you, Kayla. Eating carbs after your weight training is so important. I was exercising with someone recently and we did a great leg day and he was like, I'm starting to feel sick. And I was like, oh, we have to get you. I was like in my ovulation. So I was like having a great time. I was like going all out, which is like when you're the best in your weight training. And I was like, he was like, oh, I'm starting to feel like sick. And I was like, oh no, like we have to get you carbs. And sure enough, like he felt better after the carbs. But if you don't eat carbs right after you weight train heavy, you are going to feel sick and it's going to ruin your whole day. And so honestly, like you could just eat like your cheat after your weight training. Like that is because you're so depleted. If you are really training hard,
let's focus in on that part real quick. If you are weight training hard.
Yes.
Yeah, because this,
but everyone should have some carbs after weight training.
Yeah.
But don't go crazy. But if you're weight training super hard, particularly leg day, after leg day, if you're going hard, you need carbs after. Like you are going to ruin your day if you don't.
My day has never been ruined though. Well, but maybe I think I'm just so used to it. Yeah, like I'm just used to it. But I am excited because Harper is in my life and she loves sourdough bread so much. This is when I get back from London, we should go back to the sourdough place and get another one.
Oh my God, amazing. Yeah, because I'm running out of the one that's frozen in my fridge right now. So
remember when I froze the whole loaf and didn't cut it?
Kayla, I was like, oh, Kayla, can I have some of the bread? And she was like, yeah, it's like in the freezer. But what did you say? I think you either knew ahead of time that something was wrong.
Well, because I thought about it after I did it. I was like, this is going to be really difficult to cut frozen.
You were like, but it's like the whole thing's frozen. So like, I'm not sure what you did with it. It's like, girl, you cut it first, stagger it a little bit so it's easy to rip off. And then like,
okay, stagger. You didn't tell
me. Oh, maybe I didn't mention. Yeah. So you cut it. You don't want to stick it all together. You cut it, maybe stagger it a little bit and then in bags and then you rip it off and then you do the defrost.
Okay.
Or toasting. Some people toast it. I don't have a toaster right now.
They toast it beforehand
in the microwave. They toast it they'll like take it out of the fridge and then toast it directly.
Oh, okay.
Out of the freezer.
Okay, that makes sense, but not pre-toasting it.
What do you mean? Oh, like toast it first and then freeze it?
No.
That would be wild.
I'm very new to the bread eating.
No. Looking at you, just like the concept of that like made me laugh. I mean, maybe there's something to it. I don't know. But yeah. Oh yeah, we talked about this last week too, where like after you freeze it, the starches are even more like decomposed or whatever. So it has even less of an impact on your glycemic index.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I am excited to try it I have not had it yet.
Glycemic index? Oh, I don't know, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. You're
less of a glycemic response. Yeah.
I'm excited to try it when I get back with my blood sugar monitor. I'm just curious.
I'm so curious. I would want you to try it straight sourdough and then the frozen one and then like normal. Exactly. We don't have to try normal bread. We don't need to do that.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's just going way crazy.
Plus with butter before, butter on, and then butter after. I would do all of those.
Yeah, I'm excited. By the way, you sent me your labs. I can't wait to look at them this weekend.
I did send those too.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited.
It's my love language is like helping all my friends optimize if there's any areas. But I mean, I love how healthy you are already, which is great. Also important to eat protein after.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
After the workout.
I actually heard carbs are more important than protein after the workout.
Interesting.
I know, which is interesting. The last thing I'll say, I think I said this last week. When you're doing weight training, you talked about jumps. This is what brought this up. Cardio. It's important to like not incorporate cardio into your strength training because you will burn out. This is the mistake I made until a year and a half ago, or I guess now almost 2 years ago when I started really weight training. So I would always incorporate cardio into my weight training. I would do like jumps and I would do like whatever. And I got quick results, but I burned out fast. And then I would stop training altogether.
Yeah.
Weight training is about showing up and using the muscle, having it be meditative. There shouldn't be some heart rate increase. So
Yeah.
that's the last thing I'll say.
Yeah, I love that. Couple at-home metrics to think about too for anyone listening, as it relates to weight training and exercise. Obviously, the bioimpedance scale, the Withing scale, DEXA is a gold standard. You can do an in-body scale; those are pretty accurate. So measuring the muscle mass. Also, just at-home grip strength. I recorded a video the other day, and I'm still at 99.4 pounds. So
Okay, love it.
I know. A doctor was like, "That's better than a lot of men."
Yeah,
It was
it's
like
really good.
I was like, "I know." It's awkward when men show me their score, and I'm like, I don't know what to say. So
You're like, I'm not impressed.
I'm like, it's way too close to mine. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, mine is like 75.
That's great though. I mean, it'll continue to improve. Like when you do those ab exercises, great for grip strength because you're holding on. It's like basically doing a dead hang while you're doing the ab exercise.
And the thing about grip strength too is like people then try to optimize for grip strength by doing
don't do that. I do not do those trainer things are ridiculous. Like you're cheating. You're only cheating.
Correlation, not causation.
Exactly. It's a proxy to overall strength and muscle mass on the body. So please don't get one of these silly grip strength testers.
And if you're like a rock climber, you'll have like a really great grip strength. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have full body strength. I mean, you might. I know some rock climbers who are like
probably pretty fit,
right? That's my guess is if you're a rock climber. Although I've known some rock climbers who are not super fit, but they're not amazing rock climbers.
Yeah.
Right. So like if you're just like an average rock climber, you should probably have some other type of type of strength.
That's the
situation
point
going on.
Okay, exercise, anything else that, I mean, we can talk about maybe protein. Protein is a really hot topic right now. So the ranges, I think the RDA is 0.6 grams per kilogram of body weight. The RDA is the recommended dietary allowance. So it's what they recommend. So everyone's on the consensus that that's far too low. I usually aim for between, but then we also have individuals on the opposite end of the spectrum saying that we need like 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. And it needs to be a really nuanced conversation because what do we know that protein does? It increases something called mTOR. So we have, phases of growth in our body and then phases of cleanup. So mTOR is the phase of growth. So things like CJC peptide, like we talked about, that's activating more of an mTOR pathway. High protein intake, food, that's all activating mTOR. We also want to have autophagy. So things that promote autophagy are like fasting, lower protein days. So for overall longevity, you don't just always want to be in a growth phase, right? You don't always want to be, let's say, figuratively pedal to the metal with the growth. So I land somewhere in the middle, and I don't know where you land, but I do not do 2 pounds of protein per pound of body weight. I'm doing it about 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And I'm correlating that with how intense I'm exercising. So on more heavy days, I will go closer to that, about 1 pound, 1 gram per pound of body weight. And then on days, if I'm not doing as intense strength training, then I will dial it back a little bit. Where are you at with the protein intake these days?
To be honest, I don't measure what I eat. Yeah, I just eat like the same thing. I'll have like eggs for breakfast or protein powder, and then I'll have like a steak for dinner or chicken breast. So I don't know. I used to measure it when I was younger, and then it got like kind of intense. So I don't measure my intake. But I assume if I'm eating eggs, protein powders, like 1 to 2 scoops of that's like 40. And then another steak, which is it's like 700 calories of protein. So God knows how many.
Probably like 50.
Yeah. So I think that's like maybe enough.
Yeah. I mean, well, just those 2 things right there, between the eggs, the protein powder, if it's 40 grams of protein in the protein shake, plus the eggs, each egg is about 7 to 8 grams of protein. Yeah. Depending on how large.
Like 3 or 4 of them.
Okay. So like you're already at like 100 grams. I think 100 grams for women is a good place to, be. And then, men, I mean, honestly, if you want to be around that like 1 gram, unless you're really trying to land muscle and you want to increase that protein. But also the amino acids are really important too. So some of those essential amino acids, there's a product that I like called Perfect Aminos, which has a lot of that leucine content. But no, Perfect Aminos, it's like a powder or a supplement, but it's all the amino acids. It's not exactly like getting full protein, but you do get a lot of that leucine, which helps to trigger that.
I see.
Muscle growth.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's what we got for exercise. We could put, thoughts on cold therapy in that bucket as well. So, I don't live and die by this, but number one, I mostly do cold therapy in the follicular phase. So when estrogen is the highest. Second thing that we know about cold therapy is that it's probably not ideal right after a hypertrophy session or or even a strength session. So right after, because it can blunt those gains slightly because it reduces inflammation. We want that little bit of inflammation for the muscle growth. So ideal time would be to do it is like before a training session because it actually increases endurance. There's some interesting studies where they use these cooling mitts with like professional athletes, and they were able to at some points even double their amount of volume by just cooling the hands.
Because they didn't get overheated, so they could keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it reduced the core body temperature. So I think if you do the cold therapy beforehand, or it could potentially be good for, delayed muscle onset soreness or DOMS, maybe post run or, post heavy session, but at least 4 hours after this training session.
Okay.
So, and look, we're not perfect about that either. Sometimes we want to do a cold plunge for the dopamine increase and we want to feel good. And, because we're not, I think we're both pretty happy with where our physiques are. So it's not like we are stressing over every single little thing. It's like sometimes it's fun for us to do it, so we do it.
Yeah, I like that it's not like crazy. We're not like, I'm certainly not like, I'm very lax, very flex, and you flex where it makes sense.
Yeah, cold therapy is definitely one thing I have a lot of flexibility on. So
Totally.
I think that is great. Let me think of anything else. Oh, we can talk about sauna in this section too, because sauna is one of my favorite therapies. Love that we do it together. Harper has, for disclosure, my husband and I now own a sauna company. It's called Heavenly Heat.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Share why it's special.
Yeah. So this company has been around for over 30 plus years, and they started making saunas for people with chemical sensitivities. So these were individuals that would have reactions with the wood glues, polyurethane, varnishes, even the EMFs. So in these saunas, they're the lowest VOC, so no wood glues, no polyurethanes. It's held together by these little latches, so it's very manual.
So easy to set up too.
Yeah, and it is quite easy to set up, but then also the heaters are shielded with EMF blocking Faraday cages. So they're the cleanest. I did all the research. So if you're listening to this and you guys do trust me, I did all this, and that's how we ended up becoming owners of this company. Is first I just wanted a sauna, then I got a little bit of equity and was going to share it, and now we own it, and my husband's running it. So that.
And they have a great little eco sauna that they sent me.
Yeah.
It can fit. I have a small little place in Venice, and it fits in my tiny little place. It's this little eco thing, and it doesn't use a lot of electricity to heat up. It's inside. It's red light, and then there's a separate red light panel that I use in my bathroom. But it's infrared, and it's great. I love it.
I know. It's so cute that your place it has a sauna inside of it. Like
there's no space, but there's a sauna.
There's literally your own whole sauna. And red light. You really got, you got a great setup, and I love it because we just have to gift Harper the things, number one, so she can be so healthy. But then also it's like when I go visit you and stay with you, it's like there's red light here, there's sauna here.
There's your favorite shampoo.
Yeah, the shampoo. It's like being at home.
Yeah, exactly.
I really love that. Okay, so sauna stuff, and I feel like I'm talking the whole time, so I need to interject some
the health stuff, girl.
Yeah,
Get it.
So sauna, there's 2 times a day that I like to use sauna. Either post-exercise, which is what we tend to do, because it can actually extend those exercise benefits. And sauna, out of all the longevity therapies, we obviously have an incredible amount of different therapies. It's the best. It's the most backed by science. There's so many studies showing that it can reduce the risk of dementia by up to 66%, improve cardiovascular health, significantly reduce the risk of all causes of mortality. So non-accident related reasons for mortality, whether that be, dementia, Alzheimer's, cancer, cardiovascular disease, etc., reduces the risk of all of those things by a significant amount, by up to over 40%, with at least 4 sessions per week. So the data is there, mimics exercise, so increases your heart rate, improves your cardiovascular system, good for detoxification. So we know we have all these toxins, and it can help with that. I think that sauna should be a part of everybody's daily practice for all the reasons we just talked about.
Yeah. And also, detoxification after the LA fires.
Yeah.
It helped you clear out all your toxins. And I actually literally my body odor started smelling different after the fires. I noticed I smelled bad. It was really strong and really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kept sauning and eventually it went away. I went back to normal, but it's so interesting how your body like traps all these toxins and then it gets out through sweat, right? Like through your body odor. So by speeding up that process by, sauning, it really helps.
Totally. I mean, other ways of detoxification are, going number 2. So if you're listening to this and you're not, well, some people
You're
think
so
it's
cute.
normal to like use the restroom number 2, like every other day or every 3 days or something.
Oh, that's surprising to me.
So yeah, you should be going on a very consistent basis.
Yes.
So that's a way we detox. Urine, another way that we detox. Sweat, another way that we detox. So I love sauna. So the one way that we mentioned is exercise extension. So right after working out, but there's also some interesting literature on improving sleep.
Yeah.
So if you want to do a sauna about 2 hours, you want to do it at least minimum 1 hour away from sleep because it does increase your heart rate. But that the entire concept of increasing your body temperature and then your body forcing to cool down. So while we're sleeping, our body actually drops down in temperature about a degree or so naturally. So it helps with that entire process and it can improve sleep because it's relaxing. There's infrared light. So those are the 2 times a day that I would consider doing sauna, post-exercise or for sleep.
Okay. Okay, this is a lot of information.
I know. I'm trying to keep
wanna-
it fast and easy.
No, I think it's great. But yeah, like the heart rate thing. So, exercising not too close to bed as well. That also applies to exercise. This heart rate comment. And then also, I recently learned that after the cold plunge, you actually don't want to go in the sauna right away. You want to let your body return to normal because it has to work to return to normal. And that's like a lot of the benefits. So I just learned that recently.
I also love the benefit of like friend time and doing.
Oh yeah, so let's talk about social connection.
Yeah, that's definitely a pillar, and a lot of people.
Isn't that the most important pillar? Actually,
Yeah,
they showed.
really is.
Was it the Harvard study that they showed the people who had strong social connections are the ones who lived longer, and it doesn't have to be that many.
Yeah,
It's just like a couple. In fact, I feel like you can't have that many strong ones. Like
Yeah.
the really deep ones are what matters. But anyway,
I agree. Yeah, I mean, feeling depressed or feeling lonely or socially isolated, they're now saying is as dangerous as smoking. And we all know that smoking is incredibly detrimental to health. So it's really, really important. And a lot of people ask me too, like, how do you have any fun or how did you like have friends? What about social connection? And I mean, number one, you guys see Harper and I spent a lot of time together. Yeah. But doing things together that are health promoting, so we work out together, hang out, chat, enjoy our time, and then do sauna. I also sometimes do sauna with my husband, which is a really nice, cozy little activity.
Yeah.
But I think any way that you can habit stack and you get social connection and sauna and exercise at the same time.
it's so nice.
I know.
Yeah,
I love that.
I love my bestie.
Let's talk about what foods to actually eat.
Yeah,
because it can be
I
really
eat very limited foods.
Yeah. Well, I did too. And now I'm working on it because I've been doing all these podcasts with like nutrition experts and we need to improve diversity.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now I'm aiming for between 30 and 50 plant species per week.
What?
It sounds crazy, but it's actually not. Like yesterday, I had 27 different plant species.
How? In a supplement?
No.
How?
Well, okay. Also know that like herbs and spices also count.
Oh.
Nuts and seeds are also part of plant
that
species.
helps. Yeah.
So like in the morning, I started doing this chia seed pudding, actually with the Zen basil seeds, because it's half the amount of fiber for the whole day. So fiber is important. I know the internet might tell you otherwise, that you don't need it, but it is. You want to aim for at least 25 grams of fiber per day. 30 or 35 is even better. But that can come from cruciferous vegetables. It could come from a supplement, or these Zen basil seeds have like half of your amount of daily fiber. So I love that. But in general, I just am a big fan of single ingredients, whole foods, no ultra processed foods.
Yeah. Right.
And make it really simple.
Yeah.
We both eat similar, I would say.
Yeah.
We both have things like salmon. We both have things like.
I don't eat much salmon anymore because it's like all bad.
Yeah.
I hear.
You don't eat that much salmon. I actually do.
Loved salmon. I miss it, but I feel like it's all bad now.
No, you need to get Seatopia.
Seatopia. Yeah, I was thinking.
They lab test for microplastics, and then, but I also felt the same.
Is it very good? I feel like
it's the best tasting salmon I've ever had.
Really?
Zero fishiness. It's all sushi
It's not like
grade.
really dense. It's like I just have to cook it well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's all sushi grade? Okay.
It's all sushi grade. So that means you could literally eat raw. I don't, but you could. I'll show you because I had a chef come over and show me how to make salmon the proper way, and it's been a game changer.
Okay, amazing. Thank you.
I used to hate how it tasted, and I did not do a good job
really
how I cooked it, but now
Yeah.
Game changer.
Okay.
Okay, we both eat grass-fed, grass-finished meats.
Yeah, and the grass-fed part is important. Some people think it's not important, but it is important. Is it because of the omega-3 to omega-6 ratio?
Yeah.
So you want the 6 to be low and that 3 to be high, but if it just has greens, then it's really bad, actually. Then those fats are actually bad for you. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure it's grass-fed because that actually makes things like beef and butter and things like that actually good for you instead of bad. It's that big of a difference.
Totally. And I mean, in general, the welfare of the animals. I mean, if you're getting a conventionally raised beef, it's not only so sad, but they're also injecting them with antibiotics.
They're stacked them together. They're
like,
so close together. It's crazy.
They're like in feces. They're getting diseases. That's why they have to have the antibiotics, is because their living standards are so poor that they're getting really sick. So really important. They feed them like candy to like fatten them up, like Skittles and all this weird stuff.
No way.
Yeah. And then you're eating that meat. And I believe not only are all the inputs, like what they're eating, important, but also
the energy,
the fact that they have a ton of stress and feel.
Totally. Yeah.
You're like eating that.
Oh, it's awful.
No
yeah.
good.
Yeah. So sourcing your food really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
important. Organic as often as you can.
Yeah.
If you can't afford all organic, there are these lists called the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. They're published every year from a company called the Environmental Working Group. And the Clean 15 are the cleaner, more safe produce to buy traditional.
Not organic,
Yeah, and then the Dirty Dozen are ones that you always want to.
And typically, like if it has a big skin, a thick skin, you probably don't have to worry about it. So like berries, you probably want organic, whereas like a banana or an avocado is like less important that it's organic.
Like pineapple or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anything with like a shell.
Yeah, that you don't eat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, other things that we like for nutrition, polyphenols, berries. We both love them. Blueberries.
Go crazy. Go ham on the berries. Evie loves blueberries too. She plays with them. They serve like 8 purposes for her.
I love that. Yeah, berries. The darker the berry, the lower the glycemic index. So the blueberries, the blackberries, even the raspberries, lower. Whereas something like, obviously a pineapple or a grape are going to be, higher.
A green grape versus a red grape
index. Yeah, I actually need to think about. I don't know for sure
the difference between red and green.
Yeah,
I know green would taste better, so it's probably worse for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's possible.
Also later. Yeah.
Fermented foods are really good. So I love to keep them on hand all the time. I saw you have some too. So
sauerkraut or kimchi or both.
Exactly. Yeah. They also have
daily
like beets, like fermented beets. You can. Those are loaded with like nitric oxide, which is really good for blood flow.
Oh.
Some people would have beets like before bodybuilding competitions, I believe. I've not been a good, but it helps with the vascularity.
Yeah.
They also do other unhealthy habits like not drinking water, which is not suggested.
I was recently told I need to drink more water.
Yeah.
Yes, by someone observing me closely.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, you should drink more water. Good quality water too.
Yeah.
That matters. No tap water, of course, obviously.
Yes.
Loaded with pollutants.
I hear AquaTrue is the best filter.
Yeah, that's what I have for countertop, which is nice because it's a couple $100. And if you're listening to this and you're not filtering your water, I think it's an amazing investment, like hands down.
Totally.
You do want to remineralize water typically if you do the reverse osmosis, unless you buy the AquaTrue with the remineralization.
I will say though,
filter.
I did buy it with the remineralization feature, I thought, but then my nails started like peeling back the top layer. And so then I added those minerals that you sent me. They're like ocean sea minerals or something.
Yeah, seawater.
Yeah, and now my nails are back. So
I'm good. Yeah,
I think that probably was the cause.
Yeah. So love remineralization. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to input like a little AI in here just so we're not monologuing about health here?
Moving towards the AI bit, we should talk about the fact that we have now created human embryos using just a skin cell.
It's wild. I'm so excited to hear more about
it. It's crazy. Although, okay, you also need sperm.
Okay.
That's also incorporated. But basically what they do is they take this skin cell, they remove the nucleus from it, which has like the DNA info. They take an empty egg where they've removed the genetic encoding from it, like the instructions, which I think is the DNA. I have to check. But they didn't use that. They didn't say they removed the DNA. They said they removed the genetic coding instructions. So I have to look at that. Then they put this nucleus inside this egg, and then they add sperm. Then they create, before they add the sperm though, they have to then remove half the chromosomes from this egg because suddenly it has like the full amount, like 46, but it's actually only supposed to have 23 to be met with the sperm. So then they have to like do this thing where they remove half the chromosomes, which is where they're running into the most issues right now, because there are some that you need to keep, but right now they're just like getting rid of like half, but it's not that simple. Like there are some that you definitely need to keep and some, anyway, so they remove half, then they introduce the sperm, and then they're able to create life from that.
That's amazing.
Okay, so they said it's about 10 years out from, being brought to people. There's still this issue with the chromosome, splitting basically. But what they said is that you would be able to probably allow same-sex couples to have babies that are their DNA.
Oh, wow.
But when you say same-sex couples, I'm talking about men, because you need the sperm.
Yeah.
So unless you can then somehow like do the same thing with sperm, where you empty out the sperm cell and put a female, DNA in there.
Yeah.
But then it's like, we won't need women anymore. If they're having these, I guess you need the egg, unless they can find some way to make these egg shells, but they use a donor egg. But if they're having these like places where babies are being born in these robotic wombs.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And then you have the fact that you can have an empty shell of an egg and put any DNA in there.
Yeah, I mean,
yikes.
Yeah.
That was just my scary thought. I wasn't sure I was going to mention that on social media, but that was my like, oh, wow. Like, it's great that same-sex couples can have babies, of course.
Yeah.
But now let's take this to the extreme long term. What does this mean? The fact that you need sperm, but you don't need an egg.
I think it's one of the many things, with AI that we've been talking about back and forth on the show already, things that we want to like keep an eye on.
Yeah. Right.
One interesting news piece that is kind of fun. So obviously we know what a centenarian is. That's like anyone
Someone who lives to 100.
over. Yeah.
Okay.
To 100, and then a super centenarian would be over 100. But we haven't really studied that many of them. A few of my friends actually, like Nur Barzili and James Clement, have actually went to a lot of these blue zones. These are areas in which they have an inordinate or abundance of people living to 100 or older. And then they've studied their habits. Also, Dan Buettner wrote a book called The Blue Zones. And if we look at their habits, and everyone always wants to bring up that they drink wine and, alcohol can't be that bad because they have it. But you can't pull out this one factor and then apply it to your life that's nothing like the blue zone life.
Right.
So what are they doing in the blue zones? They have very strong sense of community. When they do drink alcohol, it's in a community setting. So with friends, enjoying love and laughter and light. They walk all over. They have a very moderate diet. They're not like pigging out on the couch with like Fritos and like, who knows, Pringles or something. Like those foods are not really seeming to be part of their diet. It's mostly like a Mediterranean type diet. They do consume amounts of meat. And they do have the small amount of alcohol. But one of the women who lived to 117 years old, she passed away, and they actually were able to study her genetics, her lipids, her profiles, all of her biological data. And we've never, that I know of at least, and maybe it's been done, but I have not seen the headlines about that. But what it says here is that the scientists published analyses of her biological samples, finding a combination of rare protective gene variants, low inflammation, favorable lipid profiles, which is like cardiovascular numbers, and a gut microbiome enriched in bifidobacterium. So one of the specific species. So it's really fun when we can look at these individuals who have lived a really long time, so we can start to narrow, like, what do their biomarkers look like, right? Is it only genetics? Because, for example, my great-grandmother right now is 95, about to be 96, living on her own. So maybe longevity runs in my family, but obviously we know that epigenetics and, biochemistry also matter. So
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really fun to just see that they're studying, some of these individuals that have lived a really long time. Sounds like low inflammation, lipids, some genetic protection,
Yes.
and a good microbiome.
Right. And what AI can do is by getting these stats on all of these individuals who live a long time, AI will be able to draw the correlations and find what are the common threads across all of these people. Whereas humans, it's a lot harder for us to do that. So, and again, for everyone listening, AI is so much more than large language models like ChatGPT, or so much more than image generation models or video generation models. That is just one type of AI. That's called generative AI. But there's all different types of AI. For example, self-driving cars, they're not generative AI. That's, image classification and you know, we call that atomic vehicles, right? It's going about the world. It's taking in information, then classifying things. That's a person. That's a stop sign. That's a green light, right? That's one type of AI, but there's lots of others. I think I said this on the last podcast that Elon once said that, you know, AI, machine learning, which is a type of AI, is just glorified statistics. So we're drawing these insights from data. We're optimizing across data. So yeah, I have a video actually on the different types of AI. We go over generative AI versus agentic AI versus machine learning versus deep learning versus like normal AI. I think there's something else in there. So if you're interested, you can check that out. I can link it here.
I love that.
But yeah, and then I guess moving on to the other AI piece, Sora. We won't talk too much about this, but it's a video generation model. It was released by OpenAI. It's doing really well. It has an app, so you can sign up for that. By the time this video comes out, I'm sure it'll be more broadly released to the public. Right now, it's like invite codes only. But yeah, by the time you're listening to this, you could probably go sign up and make videos. And what's interesting is that, so I'm not exactly sure how this works, but I opened it last night and you have like a list of people's likenesses, like people you don't even know. Like you can sign up and have your likeness in the app.
Oh.
By the time this is released, I'll probably know a lot more about it. But you can sign up and have your likeness in the app. And then so you'll see on X or Instagram all these people making videos of Sam Altman because his likeness is there. But when you actually look at the app, there's like lots of other people that you've never heard of who have kind of donated their likeness to this app. So I have to look at how that works, if you can like turn that off. I'm sure you probably can. But I like wanted to do it last night. I was like all cozy in my pajamas and like in the dark. And I was like, oh, I wish I could like just record myself and just like make something. But then I was like, am I going to show up in this horrible video of myself? Like, or like in my pajamas and my hair all gross and like, and then everyone's going to be able to use that version of me for their videos. So I didn't end up doing it last night. But yeah, it's interesting. But then, yeah, you can use people's likenesses and then you can have them, like, make them do things. Yeah.
But can you, is the goal, like, what's the benefit to this? Because to me, that doesn't seem like a huge benefit is to be able to let people use your likeness. But, like, can we upload ourselves and then make videos? Like,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I don't even need to do, like, an ad read or something or whatever it may be.
Yeah, exactly. Although there's another company that does this. I'm sure that Sora could do it as well. It's pretty good at like transferring text and like you saying what you want the video to say and then it's saying it, which has been a challenge. But like there are other video and AI avatar apps like Synthesia or HeyGen. I interviewed the CEO of Synthesia last year. But basically you can do these ad reads that are AI generated. They're still not like, they're not 100% there. You know, Synthesia, for example, like you can still tell it's AI. They're getting a lot better, especially if you don't know someone's voice or like their facial movements or something. It's hard for you to be like, wait, that's off, you know?
Yeah.
Because the voice also isn't quite there. They could be better, but it's not. But Sora, I think, is a bit better in terms of it seems more realistic. So yeah, you could try doing your ad read.
Yeah.
With that.
That would be so fun.
Yeah.
We should do, since we focused on like health a lot, next episode, we should do like, you know, you and I do this already, but we should do it like on record, kind of like an AI masterclass. But then I will be here asking questions that a lot of people probably are wondering.
Yeah. Maybe we do like a neural network class, like where we talk about the transformer and neural networks.
Yeah.
Like the transformer is the architecture that underlies large language models. And like, you know, you've probably heard of neural networks, right?
Yeah.
So we can talk about what goes into a neural network. So a transformer is a type of neural network that underlies ChatGPT. So we can go over like, what does that look like? You know?
Yeah. That would be so fun. And then I can ask all like the basic questions that people have that they might not get a chance to ask you.
That would be amazing. Okay. So this week was health protocols. Next week we're doing AI based.
Yes. Yeah. And so we'll jump back for health protocols. We'll jump back real quick on the therapy I just did. So
oh yes,
I did therapeutic plasma exchange, and I'll talk about where we're at now, ways you could do it for way cheaper, and then we'll also talk about where we're going in the future with this. So what what is therapeutic plasma exchange? It is essentially removing either a portion or all of the plasma from your body. Why would we want to do that is a question. So it originally was used for people with these cytokine storms. So either autoimmune related, so having really bad reactions with an autoimmune
What's a
condition.
cytokine storm?
So it became very popular during COVID, right? So cytokine storms would occur, and when we'd see people actually going to the hospital, right? So your body responds really poorly to this invasion of the infection.
So a cytokine is something that gets released when you have an infection.
Essentially,
I
like
remember
your
learning
cells
that
going
word.
ultra dysfunctional
Okay.
when something is introduced, whether that be an autoimmune condition or whether that be a virus like we had then. So TPE was used often in COVID to pull out some of that plasma. So you're pulling out some of those rogue immune cells, some of those antibodies that have built up against your own body. So like in autoimmune conditions, your body is essentially attacking itself and it's creating antibodies against yourself. So if you had Hashimoto's thyroiditis, you're developing antibodies because you're having to attack your thyroid. So by removing them directly from the plasma, it can be like a little bit of a reset, or at least give your body a break, right? So you are reducing the amount of antibodies that you have. Other reasons that you could use it are removing environmental toxins, like in the fires. So I did total toxic burden on the 11th of January, I believe, which is like mid-fire, did a TPE session, and then I retested. And then it removed all the toxins across the board by about 11%, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Not probably pretty good for $10,000, which is...
Yeah, it removed all of them across the board only by 11%. So like, no,
yeah. So that, sorry, I was trying to make
all the different types of them
all the
across
different types.
board.
So
Yeah.
this test in particular looks for heavy metals, molds, mycotoxins, and environmental toxins.
Yeah.
So some levels will remove more than others. So maybe one was 20%, but one was only 5%. But I equated it to about 11% across the board. So, but it's very expensive right now.
Just sauna.
Expensive.
Sauna.
Yeah, sauna's great. I think I am really interested for people with autoimmune conditions, because I found this very fascinating. When I had all those toxins from the fires, and my gut was a little compromised as well at that time, I saw my antibodies. So to get diagnosed with something like Hashimoto's thyroiditis, you would look at, of course, like your general thyroid markers like TSH, T3, T4, but you look at these TPO antibodies. As the antibodies creep up, it means your body's starting to develop, attack essentially against your thyroid. Well, for the first time ever on my labs, because I test so often, I saw my antibodies creeping up because my body was probably overloaded, right? I had the toxins, I had some antibiotics that I had to do, my gut was compromised. So all this stuff was happening. I had 9, and the value was 9 on the antibodies. It's still not diagnosable, but after that TPE, I had 0. So it removed them all, and it gave me a chance to reset, and now I still have 0.
Wow. Okay.
So for people with autoimmune conditions, it's really, really difficult for them, and there's not a lot of great treatments right now. So that's one area I'm excited about. But anyways, I did that the other day. This time I did not have all my plasma removed. So last time I did it, they removed 2.5 liters. This time they only removed 750 milliliters.
Okay.
So I kept some of my plasma, and then they replaced it with albumin. I'm excited for the future for the filtering of the plasma, because you'll be able to probably select what toxins. Do you want to filter out microplastics? Do you want to filter out antibodies? And then you get to keep your plasma instead of getting rid of it all. So,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's really popular in the just the longevity conference that was here in Austin. So many people talking about TPE. It's becoming very popular in the longevity space. But I will tell people that are listening, so we know that this treatment's really expensive. It will come down in cost as it becomes more in demand. But the other thing that you could consider is, plasma donation. So you could donate your plasma, you get paid for that, you help people, but you dump a little bit of that plasma out, and then your body just regenerated. So you don't put anything back in because it's not too much to harm you. So that's another option that you could literally get paid for and reduce some of that plasma. But also, it's not necessary. I think people that are sick, or if you're really deep into longevity space, you could consider things like this. But it's becoming popular. So I wanted to talk about it.
So blood donation is one way to have similar benefits.
Plasma donation. Blood donation has benefits as well. With the plasma, it lives inside your blood, but you get the blood back and they just take the plasma.
Yeah.
But even donating, especially for men, donating blood is really helpful because, ferritin levels can creep up kind of high. You're replenishing. It's a protein inside of your blood that can indicate a few things. Like women typically have much lower ferritin. It's also linked to energy. So women oftentimes will have really low ferritin, and then men will have much higher ferritin. But you also don't want, it's again Goldilocks. We talk about this all the time.
Yep.
You don't want too much. You don't want too little. So women with really low ferritin can have fatigue. If you have too high ferritin, it could indicate inflammation. So it's kind of interesting to think about. You're kind of offloading some of the older components of your body, and then you're allowing your body to regenerate faster. We regenerate anyway, but it's speeding that process up.
So cool.
Yeah, that's what I did this week. But this has been such a pleasure as always. And if you guys have any questions, we have to make sure we check the questions like before we do our next episode.
Yeah. Well, if you enjoyed this podcast, share it with a friend or leave a review. It helps us a lot.
Yes.
We're brand new babies in this podcast world, in our joint podcast. I know Kayla's been podcasting for a while, but it does help us a lot if you share it or download it or follow us.
Yeah,
that helps us a lot. So if you like it and you think more people should listen, that makes a significant impact on the algorithm. I can tell you as a algorithm developer that it does. So yeah, thanks for being here, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, we'll see you next week.